is Lucretia Richardson. I be doing this album to clear up some things. First of all, my husband, Willie P. Richardson, he think he the funniest person in the world. Personally, I think I be more funny than he do. Second of all, Willie always be talking about how fat I is. That always made me so mad. You can see my picture on this package. I ain't fat now, ain't never been fat. His whole family, including his old ugly mama, be large peoples. I don't know why he don't make fun of them instead of me. He let me be on a couple of his albums, and lots of you nice peoples asked me to do one of my own. So here it is. I hope you enjoys it. Probably more than Willie's. If you do, I wish you'd let that crazy old fool know it. Thank you very much.
Pet supplies.
Who?
Pet supply department.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing? My name Lucretia Richardson, and I got sort of an unusual question for you.
Okay.
I was wondering, do y'all have any of those dog collars, you know, those things on them when you're trying to train a dog?
Yes, we stock training collars.
I was wondering what you think about this here. I have a husband, and his temper real bad. But he agreed to let me put one of those on him. We've been to marriage counselors, and you name it, we've been there to get help. But he just is worse than he ever have been. And I was just wondering if you think that'd work.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, he agreed that he'd wear it around the house, and every time he get mad or start acting crazy like he do, I could just, push that button and probably knock him down to his knees. I bet that'd get his attention and get him trained.
Well, I've never heard of anyone doing that. These collars aren't made to be used on humans, ma'am.
Well, what if he don't act like a human half the time around here? Getting mad and acting crazy. If his food ain't warm enough, his pill ain't just right, you never know what's gonna set him off. And last night our cat went over and was, just rubbing up against him like they do. And he picked that cat up and threw it over there and hit my mama. Cat started scratching. I had to take her to the emergency room and get her head sewed up. And now the cat, it looked crooked around here. When he threw it across the room, the cat kind of lopsided.
Well, ma'am, we'd be glad to sell you a collar.
What you laughing about? You think this is fun?
No, ma'am. I'm sorry. Ma'am, we'd be glad to sell you a collar. You can do whatever you want with it, but really, I don't think you should use it on your husband or any other person for that fact.
Well, it ain't none of your business what I do with it, is it?
I guess not, ma'am, but you asked my opinion.
Well, you just need to mind your own business about this.
Yes, ma'am.
I got 2 boys and a girl that act just like them, too. You got any collars fit them?
Well, there's one size fits all.
One size fits who?
One size fits all, ma'am.
You shortening me?
No, ma'am, I'm just trying to help you.
Well, you ain't got them in all different colors, do you?
No, ma'am, they only come in brown.
Just brown?
Just brown.
Well, any of them got any rhinestones or any pretty sparkling things on them? You still laughing at me?
No, ma'am, but to be truthful, they actually only just come as they are, but maybe you could add some on yourself.
Well, why couldn't you just put them on for me down there at your stove?
We don't do that, ma'am.
Why not?
We don't glue or add anything to existing products. We just don't do that. We don't have time to do that.
Well, let me ask you this here. If I got 4 of them, one for him, my husband, and then one for each of my kids, can I get a different remote control for each one?
Ma'am, I'm sorry. They come with a separate control. They each have their own control, ma'am.
'Cause I'd hate to shock them if they wasn't doing nothing bad. Shock the wrong one, get them all mixed up, and shock them if it was their daddy that was acting crazy. But who care if I shock him the way he acts so bad most of the time? It gonna take a lot of shockings to get him straightened up. What I'm talking about.
Look, Ma'am, I'm sorry, but we've got several people here waiting in line. You need to come down here and have a look at these collars. Check them out for yourself. Someone can help you when you get here.
Mm-hmm. How late y'all stay open down there?
9 o'clock, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I come down there and bring my husband and the kids, could you just try them all on them?
Ma'am, you're welcome to come on down here and look at them, but I'd rather not have you try them on your family.
Well, how am I going to know if they fit?
Ma'am, I've got to go. We're really busy. Thank you for calling.
I ain't finished asking you questions, lady. That old heifer hung up on me. Hello?
Hello?
Is this Mr. Corley?
It is Melvin Cole. I don't know which one you want or not.
Oh, yes, it sure is. My name Lucretia Richardson. I stay over here in Dexter.
Yes?
And somebody told me about you do some real good woodworking. Do you still do that?
A little bit along.
A little bit? Well...
What do you got you need?
Well, let me tell you, I got some problem. Maybe you can help me with it. My husband in pretty bad shape. And, several years ago, his doctor told him if he didn't quit eating so much, he was going to die before he 50. Anyway, he 49 now, and he ain't never listened to what the doctor said. And he got so large now, he can't even get through the door.
Oh, Lord.
He kind of in reclusion, and just eat all the time. Anything he can get his hand on, and his sisters and brothers come over here, and see, they don't tell me about it, but they sneaks him food in her, and just worry me to death. But here's the problem. I've been trying to make his funeral arrangement around here, and ain't none of these peoples at the funeral home has a casket large enough for him. And they told me that maybe I has to have one made.
No, I'm not. All I do is just make little craft stuff.
You can't make nothing that large?
No, ma'am.
Oh, Lord.
Has he died?
He ain't died yet, but I don't know what I'm going to do now. Because you're the only man I know about. They told me
Well, they are somewhere around Dublin.
Around who?
Where you live, Dexter?
I live in Dexter, but you don't think you could do it? It wouldn't be nothing but a box.
Ma'am.
Oh, well, let me ask.
All I do is just make little small stuff.
How small you make stuff?
Real small.
Well, let me ask you this. If I could get somebody that can make a box, could you put some carvings in it?
Put what?
Carvings, like could you...
Carvings?
Uh-huh. Could you maybe carve pictures of me and the children, or maybe a picture of a big old ice cream cone, or plate of some kind of food like he like up over his head?
No, I don't have nothing carved with.
You ain't got no carving tools?
No, ma'am.
Well, can you write? Can you do any writing off up in the woods?
More than you. What you need to do is see if one of these cabinet shops can't build you one.
A cabinet shop?
Yeah.
Well, do you think, though, if you could help me this way, maybe, because they say you so nice and all, maybe could you just come out here while he sleep and just measure him?
No, I'm not in that business.
But he's not dead.
Well, I know that, but I still don't. All I do is make this little small stuff.
But you wouldn't be willing just to come measure?
No. I wouldn't do you no good. You can do that, but You
think I can measure?
Yes, you got a tape measure.
Well, what kind of measurement would all they need? Just how long he is?
How long he is and how wide he is.
How wide?
Yeah, how much do he weigh?
Oh, Lord, he going now about probably 550. He huge. He have done got huge and still going.
That'll be a trouble if something happened to him to handle it.
I don't know how we gonna get him out of here when the time do come. I don't know. They may even have to go so far as to...
Your funeral director should be able to help you there. He should tell you who would build, who he can order any size he wants and may not have them on hand.
Well, see, he didn't offer to do nothing like that.
I talked to me another one then.
Mm-hmm.
Check with that other one up. Y'all have two over there, don't you?
Well, let me ask you this. Do you have a saw? Because they may have to cut, some of his...
You go to one of them cabinet shops. There's one in Rents and there's one in Cadwell.
But see, I was wondering if maybe even when the time do come, they may have to cut his different parts to get him out of here, because I don't think they can get him out in all one piece.
Well...
Like take his legs out and then take the other part of his body out.
I don't know, ma'am. I've never got into this, and I just don't know what to tell you. I wish you could.
I do too, 'cause it's just killing me.
Go see that. Go talk to that other undertaker over there.
The other who?
Undertaker there in Dublin.
Undertaker? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just killing me. But anyway, well, you sure has been nice, and I take all this in thought and everything and think about it, and I sure do appreciate it.
May the Lord bless you, ma'am. You do have a problem.
Yes, I do. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello?
Reverend Kemp.
Well, I'm not a reverend. I'm a minister. How can I help you?
Well, that's, in my idea, that's the same thing if we all works for the Lord.
Okay, how can I help you?
My name is Sister Lucretia Richardson,
Okay.
and I'm a traveling evangelist from up here in Owensboro, Kentucky.
Okay.
And before I get started, I feel led, if you don't mind, could I have a word of prayer?
Yeah, go. Yeah.
Is that all right?
You may pray?
If you don't mind, I'll lead us.
All right, go ahead.
All righty. Dear Lord, please put it on Brother Chris's heart to listen carefully to what I'm fixing to ask him about, and to listen to all I got to say. And if he feel in his heart to help us out, please tell him to say yes to me. Do you hear me, Lord? Amen and amen. Thank you so much, Reverend. Okay, now, I was wondering if you'd be interested in me and my family coming down to your church to do a revival pretty soon. Have you got time? Let me tell you what we do.
Well, I don't believe in women preachers, so I don't know if I'd be interested in that, ma'am.
Well, see, we has all kinds of peoples that travel with us, not just women's.
Mm-hmm.
But I lead the group, but we kind of do it in a group-like setting. It's men's and children. What we follow is what it say in Mark 16, verse 18. They will be able to even handle snakes with safety. And if they drink anything poisonous, it won't hurt them. Amen and hallelujah. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And we handles rattlesnakes and we drinks poison during the service to show the peoples how much faith we be having.
Well, I don't know if I'd be interested in that. I appreciate your time, but I don't believe I'd be interested in that.
Well, is there a reason why?
Well, I don't want rattlesnakes in my church house.
Well, but it say that in the Bible that it all right.
It says it in there. It sure does.
And we practice it. We do. We practice it here in Kentucky all the time. And the snakes ain't never hurt nobody. We ain't never been bit or nothing. One time one did get out to the sanctuary, but it didn't bite nobody.
Well, I appreciate your efforts. Thank you very much, but I don't believe I'd be interested.
Is the reason you turning me down 'cause we black?
No, because I'm not wanting snakes in my church house.
Well, what about if we has a real good band? Would you mind maybe sometime when we traveling through, we come and play some music down to your church? We got trumpets, and I plays the piano, and one of my girls played the drum. We got the guitar, and we make precious sounds for the Lord.
Well, I'm sure it sounds beautiful, but I don't believe we'd be interested in that either.
Well, maybe I can make an appointment to come and visit with you, and maybe if we meet personally, maybe you might...
Well, you come on down. I am a minister for the Eastwood Street Church of Christ, so I'm located right on Wood Street in Paris.
I'm sorry, on what street? I'm trying
Wood
to...
Street.
Could you spell that?
Wood, just like you chop it
like
wood.
All right,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry, I'm sorry.
So you come on down anytime, I'll be glad to talk to you.
All right, well, I'm going to pray about it, and I sure do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Amen.
Bye-bye.
Marsha.
I need some help. Have you got a minute?
Yes?
I bought a gun out there, and last night I fired it, and I missed, and the barrel all bent or something, and I want to know, can I get my money back?
Bring it in.
Well, what you gonna do about it if I bring it?
Well, I'd like to look at it and see what's wrong with it.
Well, something wrong with it, 'cause I don't usually miss, but last night my husband came in acting all crazy and everything.
You shot at your husband?
Girl, yeah, the first one I shot at him, my first husband, I hit him in the leg, and he ain't never acted crazy again. But this one, I fired at him, and I missed, and I don't usually miss, and I think it's your fault, 'cause it was all the barrel when I looked down, it's all bent. It's a Wesson.
What kind?
Wesson.
Bring it in and let's have a look at it.
It's a 38.
Uh-huh.
And, but I don't have no papers or nothing anymore.
That's all right. Bring it in and we'll have a look at it.
Well, he gonna be with me. So if he get to acting sassy, y'all gonna have to throw him out of there.
Well, don't be bringing anybody in here like that.
Well, I can bring him out there if I want to.
Well, you won't probably get in if you're going to bring some crazy man out here.
Well, ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it unless he act crazy.
Well, that's what you think, dear.
Well, I know what I'm talking about.
What's your name?
What you want to know my name for?
Well, see what kind of a gun you've got here.
Well, that ain't none of your business. Hello?
Miller Funeral Directors.
Yes, sir. How you doing this evening?
Oh, pretty good. How could I help you?
Yes, sir. Well, I hope you can. I got some real problem, and I need some help with it.
Well, we can probably help you.
Well, this here Lucretia Richardson, and I'm calling from California, and I've been working for this old man about 30 years, and he just passed this morning, and he wants to be brought back to his hometown there for his funeral.
Well, I can sure help you with that.
Well, I don't know really whether you can or not.
Well, I mean, we can handle pretty much any kind of situation. Tell me about yours.
Well, like I said, this here real unusual. All his family already be dead, and he left all the arrangement up to me.
Well, if you come on in, we could help it. We can, make it easy for you.
Well, it ain't gonna be easy after I tell you what he wants for his funeral.
Well, I've had, some pretty unusual requests in the past, and we've usually been able to handle them. But what's your particular situation?
Well, for about the last 20 years, ever since his wife passed, he been living out in California, and he been a member of a nudist colony out here. That's that place where them peoples go around naked.
Right.
But, of course, now, he was born and raised there in Texas.
I understand.
Well, this here where he get kind of crazy.
All right.
He want to be buried naked.
Yeah, well, we could do that.
Yes, sir, but you see, he wants the casket to be open all the way at the service. And I ain't just talking about the top half. He want it open all the way down from one end to the other. And showing everything. And I'm worried about people's coming to visitation and all, seeing him laying up there naked,
Well, I'd probably have to check on something like that for you. If it's a closed casket kind of service, I don't think it'd be a problem, but I don't know about this, It might have something to do with the public lewdness laws around here, and I just have to check on that.
Well, no. He specifically say in his will and testimony that he wanted open all the way down from one end to the other. And Lord, he look awful, all wrinkledy and all, and shriveled up, and he about 89 years old, and people don't want to be looking at that. I know I don't.
Well, that it is a first for us, but we'll see. We'll do as much as we can to work it out.
Well, but I ain't finished yet. Let me tell you the rest of it.
Okay.
Well, it's gonna be a whole busload of people from that nudist camp coming to his funeral, and they wants to come to the funeral naked, and they gonna bring their own preacher and singer and musicians and everybody, but they all be naked too.
Well, it's going to be all right. We're going to do everything we can to help you. But let me get this straight. You're saying that they all want to come down here to the funeral with no clothes on. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir, they do. And there's going to be a whole busload of them fools coming. And they was asking me to make their motel reservations and everything. But I ain't going to do it now. I flat refuse, because I be afraid they be running around the motel naked and all.
Well, I don't see how we could allow them to come into the funeral home in the nude like that. I mean, they would probably get arrested here for doing that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Well, what they wanted me to ask you was this here. When they gets inside the funeral home, could they just take off their clothes after they gets in there? You know, maybe just go into the restroom or something and take their clothes off in there. Or maybe you could just lock the doors so nobody else could get in after they all take their clothes off.
I don't really think, we can do that, but I'll check with the police department, if you need me to, and, I'll see what they say about it.
Well, oh, and I forgot to tell you this here. Money ain't no problem either. He had plenty of money, and what he did, he allowed about $18,000 for his funeral in his will. And I know funerals be expensive and all, but you reckon that enough to take care of it?
Well, for $18,000, we could do an excellent job for you. I promise you that. Do you know when you'd want the service to be? And have you made arrangements for the body to be transferred from? You said it was California, right?
Mm-hmm.
From California to here.
Well, but here's another crazy part of this deal. They wants to bring his body over here on the bus with them, and just haul him over here like that.
Well, it is against the law to transport a body like that. We can make arrangements with someone, to transport it by air or in a hearse, but you can't transport a body on a bus or in a private vehicle or anything like that.
No, we gonna have to, 'cause that's what he put in his will, that he want to ride over here in the bus and be with them other nudist people.
Well, I hate to tell you, but I just don't think that's going to be one of his wishes that you can honor. Who has the body now?
Oh, it's still here at the house. All I did was open this box that he had the will in, and that's what he told me to do. Soon as he died, he told me to open it up.
Well, the best thing for you is what you're going to need to do is call a funeral home out there, and they'll tell you exactly what to do. Now, did he leave the name of a local funeral home for you to call?
No, sir, he didn't.
Well, I'll tell you what I want you to do. Just call a local funeral home right now, and call me back with their name. Or if you need me to, I can make contact with one out there for you.
Oh, that'd be so nice if you could do that, 'cause all this is just so much responsibility and.
Well, I'll call one for you, and let me go ahead. What's your name and address and the name of the deceased?
Just a minute. Somebody at the door, so I'm going to have to call you back.
Well, could I at least get your phone number?
Good afternoon, food service.
Yes, is you the one in charge of buying meat for the schools?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Well, I think I got something you might be interested in.
Okay.
My name Lucretia Richardson. We stays out here at Antioch. Anyway, we raise hogs and cows.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, the other night, during that bad storm we had, lightning hit and killed 3 of my cows. Anyway, when it did that, it jumped over and killed 5 of my largest hogs.
Oh, well, I'm real sorry to hear about that, ma'am.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. But what I was wondering, would you think that the school might be interested in buying this meat? See, right after they was killed, we drug them all inside and cut them up and put them in the cooler, so see, the meat be all right.
No, ma'am. We can't buy meat from anyone unless they're on our approved vendor list.
Approved who?
Vendor list. That's a list of companies that we're approved to buy meat from.
Well, really, this meat be pretty good. When that lightning hit them,
It about cooked the meat, so you wouldn't have to do nothing except maybe warm it up a little bit with a little barbecue sauce on it. And see, my boys, they've been making sandwiches out of it all week, and it really do have a good flavor, almost like it been cooked over charcoal or something. Anyway, when that lightning hit them, it singed their hair, and it smelled pretty bad till we skin them all.
No, ma'am. We're under strict government regulations, and we can't buy anything like that. Plus, we buy food products on a bid basis only.
Yeah, but I bet I could give you the lowest bid you ever got on meat.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We can't do that.
And why not?
It's illegal. We can't do it.
Well, ain't nobody gonna know about it but me and you, and I sure ain't gonna tell nobody.
Yes, they will know about it. I'll know about it, and I ain't gonna do it.
It sure is a shame to see all this good meat go to waste.
Ma'am, you just don't understand. You could get yourself in serious trouble selling this meat to anyone. We have strict regulations covering the sale of any type of food products. What you're doing violates the law.
Well, I ain't did nothing yet. I'm just thinking about doing it.
Well, you better think twice about doing something like that. What'd you say your name was?
What my name is ain't none of your business. Why are you getting smart with me?
Ma'am, I'm not getting smart with you. I'm just trying to save you a heap load of trouble.
Well, I don't appreciate the way you be talking to me. My kids always say the food up at that old school wasn't no good anyway. Wasn't fit to eat. This meat probably be better than anything y'all be serving.
Look, ma'am, I've tried to explain to you the reason that I can't help you. Look, I just don't have time to talk to you anymore today. Thanks for calling.
Mister, don't you hang up on me?
Look, ma'am, I don't know what else to tell you. If you don't believe me, why don't you call the city health inspector's office and tell them what you want to do. They'll help you out. I can't help you.
I think I'll do just that, 'cause you don't know anything about what you talking about.
Alameda Farm.
Yes, ma'am. Is you the one that sells them little bitty horses?
Yes, I do. I raise and sell miniature horses.
Mini who?
Miniature horses. That's what they're called.
Oh. Well, I was driving by your place the other day and seen all them little horses out in your pasture. And I was wondering if you had two that were exactly alike. I mean, like maybe they twins or something.
Well, no, we really don't. They don't normally have twins. They just have one baby at a time.
Well, I'll tell you what I was wanting to know for. My two sons is midgets, and they always want to be in a rodeo. And we always take them to all the rodeos around here. And in fact, we just got back from that big rodeo. You know, that one down to Houston, and they really likes all that stuff. And while we was down there, one of them cowboys let them boys get on the little horse. But it was a regular size horse, and it was way too big for them. And I just thought it'd be cute if they had two horses that was just alike. You know, like twin horses, just like they be twin boys.
Right. Well, we don't have any twins, but I have a couple of little Palomino colts. They look very similar, that they would be cute for two little boys.
About how much do they cost a piece? They ought to be pretty cheap, 'cause they ain't just about a fourth the size of a regular horse.
Well, I know that, but these are show horses. I don't breed pet quality horses. I breed show horses, and these little stud colts is going to run about $1,500, $2,000 a piece.
$1,500 for a little tiny horse like that?
Well, these are show horses. These are good show quality horses.
Well, you can buy a full-size horse for about $600, $700.
Well, that's true, but they may not be a show horse. These are very good show quality horses. They have good bloodlines, and they're very fine quality horses.
Well, I sure do need to get a couple of them, but reckon you could trade a car or something like that in on them?
Well, ma'am, I only trade for cash. I don't trade for cars or anything else.
Well, I sure need these horses. These boys about to run me crazy ever since we drove by your house. And, Reckon we could come over and you could at least let them ride them to see how they likes them.
Well, no, I don't, ma'am. I don't do things like that. These little horses, you can drive them in buggies, but you can't ride them.
But why not? They just little bitty fellas, and they ain't gonna hurt your horses.
Well, I know that, but some of these mares they're brood mares, and they're in foal, and the two little Palomino colts I was talking about, those little fellas are just yearlings, and you can't ride year-old horses.
Well, oh, yes, ma'am. But that's what I'm talking about. See, could it just, when they come out there, maybe they could just be like they in a rodeo. If them horses was a little crazy acting, maybe buck them off. They could bring some of their friends over to watch it like it'd be a rodeo.
No, ma'am, absolutely not, because my insurance would not allow that. I couldn't have your sons out here getting hurt falling off my horses, possibly breaking an arm or a leg or something of that nature. No, we couldn't have that.
Well,
I just don't allow anybody to ride my horses. You can look, but that's all we could do.
Well, could we maybe just take a couple of them home with us and, for a couple of days just to try them out, and they could just keep them out in the garage?
No, ma'am, we couldn't do that at all. I don't let a horse off the place unless it's paid for in full.
Well, see, what we could do is pay them out by the month, and you could just go on ahead and get a couple of them, and we could pay about maybe $25 or $30 a month on them.
Well, ma'am, do you know how long it would take for a $1,500 horse to pay $25 or $30 a month on it? No, ma'am, I couldn't do that at all.
Well,
why don't you go to the bank and borrow the money?
Well, but I sure wish we could work something out, 'cause...
Well, ma'am, we certainly can. I'll be happy to work something out with you, but it's going to be $1,500 cash.
But see, I'm a member of an organization of parents of midgets and dwarfs, and we was talking about having a rodeo every year just for our kids. And see, my boys has a little old pickup, kind of like a go-kart. You might have seen them around here. They always dress up in cowboy outfits, and I was gonna have a little horse trailer built for them, and get a couple of them horses, and I think that'd be real cute.
Well, it certainly would.
But we're gonna have to pay it out.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't take terms on the horses.
Well, but would you be interested in maybe having them come out and work for you and let that be payment for the horses? I mean, they do any kind of work. They real strong to be so little. They 20 years old, and they pick peas a couple of summers for a man to stay over here close to me. And you ought to see them going down them roads. Didn't even have to bend down to pick them peas, and they was fast, too, just going up and down. And see, if them horses be a little wild, they can ride them and break them, tame them for you. Or they can just clean up them old horse stalls for you, and whatever you want them to do around there, they do it. They good boys.
Well, I'm sure they are, ma'am, but I already have somebody hired right now, and I really don't need any help.
Well, you just ain't willing to do nothing for us, is you, lady?
Well, I sure am. As long as you have the cash, then I can certainly sell you the horses. But, ma'am, you have to understand that I just, I don't sell on terms and credit. So...
Well, but these little fellas been counting on getting these horses ever since we seen them out there. You a hateful acting person. I hope you old horses get sick and die.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. My name Lucretia Richardson. I'm with United Satellite Television.
Oh, we wouldn't be interested, thank you.
Well, wait a minute. I have an order here for Mrs. Clinton Madison at 1731 Oak Grove Court. Is that you?
Yes, that's me. But I haven't ordered anything from you.
Is this your birthday today?
Yes. Why?
Well, someone have apparently ordered our service for your birthday, and we have some men's out at your house right now, and they done installed the satellite dish out in your front yard by the driveway, and now they just needs the key to get on inside to finish installing the wires in your control box and everything.
What? Who ordered this from you?
Well, lady, I really ain't supposed to say. It was for your birthday. Do you know about what channels you may want? The person that ordered it wanted us to put, let's see, about 14 sports channels. And he say you might want some channels about gardening and sewing and stuff like that. And he say you try and lose some weight. So you might want some of them aerobics channels or whatever it be called or something. So you might watch them and work out at the same time.
Now listen to me. I don't want any satellite dish in my yard, and I didn't authorize you to put one there. Did my husband order this?
Well, I ain't supposed to say, but since you getting so huffy about it, yes, he did. Said y'all been talking about getting it and that this would be a good time since it's your birthday and all.
Well, we discussed it all right, as recently as this morning. But I told him we couldn't afford it now and that we needed to wait.
Well, he told me that you had just got a big raise and that you'd pay me the down payment on it. And we need to come on by your office there at the bank and pick up a check for about $350 after we get finished. Do any of your neighbors have a key that we can use to get in?
Look, I don't want your service. You can just remove that satellite dish from my yard and get off our property right now.
We can't do that, ma'am. We done concreted it in. We had to dig up some of your flowers and shrubs to put it in. But my men say they had replanted them for you at another place in your yard.
If you don't get off my property right now and take that satellite dish with you and repair my yard, I'm calling the police department.
Well, you call whoever you wants to. We gonna call them if you don't pay for this dish. You know that's stealing, having us send our men out there to put all this in. Told to do it by your husband and you saying you ain't gonna pay for it? You is gonna pay for it. You heard me?
What did you say the name of your company was?
United Satellite Television. You want me to spell it for you?
No, I can spell.
You just want us to go ahead and put them channels I mentioned on there for you?
Look, I've told you, I don't want it. Now you get off my property right now and have your men get off my property right now. I'm calling the police and my attorney.
You just go on ahead. I'm going to call the police, too, and have you arrested for stealing our dish and the labor involved in digging up your flowers and plants, moving them and putting in your dish. You going to pay for this one way or the other.
Give me your name again, ma'am.
My name ain't none of your business. You going to know my name soon enough, though, 'cause I'm calling the police right now. I hope you enjoys it down at the city jail, 'cause that's where you going, you old heifer, you.
Porches by Richard.
Yes, sir. I was wondering if you could help me out with something.
Sure, what can I do for you?
Well, I kind of got some unusual situation here. Have you got a minute so I can tell you about it?
Yes, ma'am, I sure do.
See, my family, we've been planning to have a family reunion on the 23rd and 24th of next month. And we wants to have a family portrait made of all of us together, you know.
Yes, ma'am, we can help you with that.
Well, there's going to be about 50 of us coming over. And we coming from everywhere. We got some, my aunt are coming from Detroit, and we got them coming from California. And the reason we having it there is this reason here. See, we wanted to have our pictures made with my great-granddaddy. He was 92 and always in perfect health. And would you believe on Monday, yesterday,
Yes, ma'am.
he dropped dead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that.
Just dropped, fell out dead. Anyway, thank you for your sympathy and all. But he had lived a full life, and he was a good man, always church-going man and all that. So now he going to be with the Lord. He going to be with the Lord. So he better off than any of us on earth is. Shawl is.
Good, man.
Well, but here's what we was wanting to do.
All right.
we had done paid another photographer to take our picture, but he don't want to do this, and he don't want to give us our money back.
Okay.
So we're going to see if we can get some more money together and ask you, could you do this?
Yes, ma'am. I could probably do it.
Well, we was wanting to know if you could come out to the cemetery, and after they had that last part of the service, you know, where they call that the graveside service part, you know.
Yeah.
After everybody leave, but just the family members, we was wanting to get him out of the casket and set him up in a chair. We're going to bring his easy chair out there from home and go on and have the picture took that way so he can be in it.
Oh, look, God. Ma'am, I've never heard anything like that. I'm just afraid I can't do that.
Well, wait. Just a minute before you hang up on me.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Well, first, you wouldn't have to touch him or nothing. My boy's going to get him out of the casket and put him in his chair. And you know that little tent next to the grave? We're just going to set him right there in the middle chair. That's where we're going to put it, up in the middle, and then everybody kind of gather around him.
Ma'am, I really don't think I'd be interested in anything like that.
Well, that's what we was afraid of. We having trouble getting somebody, but what we can do, see, we probably going to be offering you about $2,500, something like that, to do it. Everybody, we're going to chip in $50 or $60 a person, because it's real important to our family.
Well, when were you going to try and do this?
Well, like I said, right there at the cemetery, it's going to be a Saturday, probably about 4 o'clock before we get through with everything. And, you know, it takes time for everybody else to leave. And but I was going to ask you this, too. Do you carry any kind of makeup or anything you could kind of touch him up with? Because, see, he going to be dead nearly a week by then. And I bet he going to be looking pretty bad.
Oh, man, no, I don't really do any makeup, and I really wouldn't want to touch it.
Well, that's all right. We could probably do it. See, we're going to put several of our children up in his lap, one at a time, so they can have a keepsake picture, just them and him together.
Well, how many shots do you want me to take?
How many what?
Pictures.
Oh, probably about 10 or 12. But then, of course, we're going to want a copy for all of us. So it's probably going to be about 50 or 60 copies altogether.
All right, that'd be no problem. But with that many copies, we'd have to have an extra charge, and that just depends on what size print you'd like.
Well, we just have to let each family member decide how many they want. And so what you can do, you can go ahead and ask them all while you out at the cemetery. And if I was you, really, I'd go ahead and make them give me some money that day, because some of them ain't no good, and they already been out here fighting over what the old man had, and Lord have mercy, it's a mess out here. They just fussing and all.
Yes, ma'am. Where's the burial going to be held?
It's going to be out at Dixon Settlement Cemetery off Highway 74. You know where that is?
Yes, ma'am. But I'm going to need you to come in here with the full payment before Saturday, and make sure it's in cash, because we don't take checks that long.
Well, that won't be no problem. I tell you, I'll go on and get everybody's money together, and I'll probably see you first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow morning then.
All righty then. We sure do appreciate it, and the Lord bless you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Is you the one that had the ad in the paper where you giving the puppies away?
Yes, I am.
Well, could you tell me a little bit about them?
Sure. We've got 4 little beagles. They're about 3 months old and very healthy.
But is there something wrong with them, really, the reason you want to give them away? They ain't got worms or nothing, is they?
Oh, no. There's not anything wrong with them. As a matter of fact, we had a hard decision deciding to give them away, but that's what we have decided to do.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I got a real good place for them.
Well, that's good. Can you tell me something about yourself? We want to make sure
did the puppies get a good home?
Well, I stays over here on 3rd Street, and my place pretty nice over here, and we've had a lot of puppies before, and I know just what to do with them.
Well, if we decide to let you have them, would it be a problem if we called to check on them now and then?
Well, yes, ma'am. Well, you might not be able to do that 'cause I ain't got no phone.
Well, could we come by and see them and make sure that they're doing all right?
Maybe so, but I ain't here a lot of the time, and anyway, they pretty good size.
Oh, yeah. They've been feeding real good. They like all kinds of dog food and doing real good.
Sure enough. Well, that sounds real good, and I bet they pretty fat by now.
Oh, yeah. They're pretty fat.
Well, you think I could come look at them?
You can, but right now I'm fixing to go to a ball game, and I won't be back till about 4:30.
Well, that's all right, 'cause that'll give me plenty of time to get a good fire going.
Ma'am?
Yeah, I gotta get me some hickory and get my barbecue pit fired up.
Oh, sounds like you're fixing to have a party. These puppies are real playful, and they like to be around people.
Well, that's good, and I do. Yes, ma'am. I have a lot of parties around here, and these peoples all really like puppies, too.
Well, that's good. Some people just don't like dogs.
Yeah, well, all these people like that taste of dog meat.
I'm sorry?
Yes, ma'am. I barbecue the dogs about every weekend, and the meat, it'd be real sweet tasting, and we got some Vietnamese people that stay around here, around the corner, and they the ones that first got me to trying it.
You're kidding, aren't you?
No, ma'am, I ain't kidding.
You got to be joking.
I'm as serious as I can be.
Well, I don't think that's funny at all. You really eat dogs?
Yes, ma'am, they real good. You ought to try since you got all those puppies over there. But what I'll do, I'll give you some of my special sauce that I make just special for dog meat.
Look here, lady. I don't know who you are or what your problem is. You're sick, and no way will you get my dog.